Ambrose Igboke joins us from Enugu. Mr. Ambrose Igboke, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. My name is Igboke. Helping me to add the W.
Sorry. Chairman of the Guild of Public Affairs Analysts, Enugu State. Let's get straight to business, Mr. Igboke. The Guardian is where we start off from. The Guardian is leading with tax reforms, pushback, revenue crisis, threatening 2026 fiscal plan. Remember when the president had come to say, look, we're good. Non-oil sector has really done pretty well. We don't need to maybe bother what Trump is doing, but now we're seeing fresh issues. The analysts are saying that a lot is gulping our revenue that we're trying to aggregate as much as possible, from salaries to debt servicing that was earmarked about 15 trillion and all of that. What do you make of this?
Well, somebody was asking me between the president and the minister for finance that which side of the story will I take? I said, well, I will take the side of the minister for finance because the president is always briefed by his people. I don't know where the president got his own statistics from, but I'm very sure that the president may be a slip of the tongue or something. When Nigeria continued borrowing after removing fuel subsidy, after removing all kinds of electricity subsidy, after removing subsidy and taxing the citizens high and mighty, we thought that we will be able to finance our budget. But again, the budget is so bogus, anchored on nothing but on the hope that the international oil pricing or gas pricing will remain the same or will go up. Any nation who depends on the volatility of global oil trade to solely to finance itself, especially when we are mismanaging our resources the way we do, is heading for economic destruction. And during the course of the year, the way the president went about a borrowing spree, we make any discernible mind be aware that we couldn't finance our budget. Because the borrowing was high, the National Assembly was always approving loans, different types of loans from different parts of borrowing institution, China Exim Bank, from the World Bank, from everybody were still borrowing. So that is just suggests that we couldn't finance our budget. I would have resorted to borrowing. It's even not the problem here is that it's a far cry from the projection. And so that's why I said, what are these projections anchored on? When you do these fiscal projections, we are projecting 40 trillion naira for revenue for the year, and we are just in 10 trillion by December 17th, December 18th. So it is very clear that we are in a very serious trouble. And we don't even know the somersaults. We don't even know which budget we are even operating. We have 2024 budget, 2025 budget. We are trying to struggle to present 2026 budget. When we have this multiplicity of budgets that are alive, which one are we really anchoring on? So the federal government should sit down and look at realities. And again, we still live as if we are comfortable because we are living a life of profligacy. There was no reduction in the spending spree from the executive, from public office holders. We still go with the largest entourage to international conventions and conferences, yet we don't even add anything to those conferences. Yet we have the largest delegations. Remember the outcry where we had over 1,000 delegates to a conference in the Middle East. Recently in Brazil too, we have a large contingent. So we are not even we are not declared a state of emergency in our fiscal issues, and we are still carrying on as if we are very comfortable. It's a very tragic situation.
All right. Speaking of realities, let's head to Vanguard newspaper, and I like how Vanguard newspaper captures the story of the last 24 hours. We have a new kind of earthquake, and it's called, it's not my word, not my words, it's from Vanguard. Don't go take quick. Farouk falls. Listen to the riders. Kamolafe also quits job at NUPRC. Tinubu nominates successors. Seek Senate's approval. Prioritize local refining. That's ascribed to Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Agbakoba, and others. If you want to know who the others are, you'll have to see page 5 inside Vanguard newspaper. But Dr. Igboke, how are you processing the events of the last 24 hours?
I rather feel concerned and worried that it took Dangote to have infractions with his brother Farouk for us to know, for the federal government or for the president to take action. These things, what has been ICPC been doing over the ICPC will not pretend to not know that this man was living above his means. ICPC will not pretend to know, or EFCC, that a lot of deputy directors, a lot of directors and permanent secretaries and public officials in our ministries, departments and agencies are living above their means. I mean, a lot of them have their children schooling in the UK, the United States, and Canada, just before the war broke out in Ukraine, everywhere, South Africa, name it. We are everywhere. These children are not there on scholarship. Majority of them are there sponsored by their parents, converting Naira into hard currencies for them to fund their children overseas. And we keep wondering, where are they getting this money? And the ICPC keeps quiet. EFCC keeps quiet, the ministries keep quiet, and we know these things have been happening over the years. So there's a kind of silent, acquiescence to what these people are doing. And we all know this. I mean, go and see the kind of lifestyle these people live. Go and see the kind of cars they drive. Go and see the kind of houses they live in. Maitama, Sokoro, in Ikoyi, VI, Lekki, everywhere. They are living as if they are not public, officer. Many of them have not done any work, apart from, civil service. Yet they live a stupendous lifestyle. But EFCC kept quiet. ICPC kept quiet. Civil society were quite, a few have tried. Even this Farouk case, an NGO has raised some alarm some time ago. But EFCC did not, or ICP did not go into it until there became a clash of the titans, where Dangote now doubled down, and because there has some issues and differences. It is not good for us that we should wait till this kind of things happen before the president asks them to resign. Secondly, it's also underscores why, out of a lot of turnaround maintenances we have had since like 30 years now, our refineries have refused to work. It's the same Farouk that told us, took all the media houses, including channels, everybody was there, to Port Harcourt. They gave us some lighting, lighted up the refinery as if it was a Christmas evening. Everywhere was bright and, and the whole thing rolled to life, we clapped. And then it went silent. It is only in this country such fraud would be accepted with glee. Somebody took us strand, refinery refused to work. Yes, we all continued as if nothing is happening here. And so the same man pretended over this and he was allowed to stay. And so it also underscores that it is deliberate that our refineries are not working. Our 4 refineries are not working. We have been importing refined products for more than almost 30 years. And we are not even concerned. Nobody, we don't need any prophets to tell us again to say these are the reasons why. There must have been some individuals who are benefiting heavily from this, as Dangote has insinuated. How do you get $5 million to spend on secondary school for your children? And then some of them are given to the best school. And those people, if it's clear, most of these people are not on, they are not on scholarship. Right. And our people don't even hide it. Our public civil servants, they show it everywhere, even in social media. Oh, my son just graduated from Oxford University. Oh, my son just graduated from Ayrton College. My son, my daughter did this, my daughter did that. And yet nothing happens. So it's a sad reality on how we carry on as a country. A little wonder why we are still where we are, stunted, even after 65 years of generous gifts that God has given to us.
And I think if there's anything to also learn from this episode is the fact that Nigerians must begin to sorosoke. They must begin to raise issues. If you see anybody culpable, sorosoke. Sorosoke, by the way, means speak up. In that sense, because we've seen the billionaires speak up and things have happened. But quickly, let's take a look at this Nigeria.
It's because he's a billionaire. You and I have been speaking up. What has happened?
Well, let's continue to speak up, Mr. Igboke. We shouldn't get tired to Sorosoke. More people will eventually catch that bug. But this Nigerian newspaper is next. Again, leads with that story. But I think a lot of people may have also missed the fact that the nominee to replace the outgone NUPRC boss is a woman by the name Orishemeiwa Eyeson. And I think that should be something to share at least. So you see the pictures on the front page, those who are going out or who've gone out already, and those who are expected to come in pending the final approval. And right under that, you see Senate endorses state police and sweeping reforms, moves to scrap multiple budgets, dismantles 69-year-old colonial audit regime, establishes federal audit service. There was also the talk about the tax law that was signed, and one of the members of the House of Reps saying it's not what we passed here that was signed by the president. They also had conversations around the Electoral Act amendment, saying compulsory use of NIN. A lot of things are actually happening in the National Assembly, and I worry that Nigerians are not paying attention. We will try our best, but also I think Nigerians should pay more attention to that. But I don't know which of those events at the National Assembly pique your interest, Mr. Igboke. We have 1 minute for that.
We must be very careful what is happening at the National Assembly because I'm very worried that crucial matters of national importance like this are just being voted on by voice votes. These are two serious issues, too much of a serious issue to be subjected to voice votes. The voting for constitutional reforms should be through electronic voting of each member of the National Assembly, so that we know those who are against, we know those who are for, we know those who are shooting down some important issue, we know those who are supporting it. But when for the ayes, or some people say nays, these are not how to do it. We remember when important critical issues were being discussed in some of the former assemblies, for example, during the time of Senator Kenan Amani, the time of Chubo Kadibu, and all those, where we had some serious David Mark and all those people. We knew how the National Assembly ran. So serious matters like this, each table of each seats has a voting apparatus that they can vote, and it can be screened there. That is how the third term agenda was shut down. But when you now come and just do voice vote, it does not represent the actual reality of what is happening. So I think the National Assembly should revert to using electronic voting so that these things can be properly collated. And sometimes I feel that these things are not scrutinized enough. They are rushed. The National Assembly is too much in a haste to do things at the pleasure of the president, Tinubu. I don't know why it seems that if you seem to be not aligning with what was sent from the executive, it means that you are counter or you are. Democracy doesn't run that way. Democracy is the National Assembly is supposed to.
All right, Mr. Igboke, yeah, I think your points are well noted. I think one most important thing you said today is the fact that we need to pay attention to what's going on in the National Assembly. We've seen the argument over what was passed against what was gazetted, plus some lawmakers debating over, they don't have details of certain laws or bills that have been passed in the National Assembly, and all kinds of things that happen that some of these lawmakers complain about. Nigerians should be interested. Mr. Ambrose Igboke is the Chairman Guild of Public Affairs Analysts in Enugu State. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Fantastic. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll get to the conversation around the state of our nation. Join us again. There's a lot